Deborah, just really quickly, I think it's all connected. We had a question from one listener. I just really want to get to it. It's about targeted individuals. Are there any solutions for targeted individuals during in the midst of all this? And maybe what is a targeted individual?
Well, many individually targeted individuals, for those of you that may not know, that this is a worldwide assault on individuals with the use of ground teams, bullying, torture. Also, satellites are used to individually hit individuals with weapon systems. It is a horrific life to be in. And honestly, I have been told by many people that are targets and that know about the technology. And generally, once you're targeted, you're always targeted. There are ways in which targets have found methods to reduce the severity of their targeting. But I have a number of videos up on stopthecrime.net about that. I want to say now that we're all being targeted. And we're going to be massively targeted. And for those of you that don't know about targeted individuals, I would say this: believe them. Look this up for yourselves. There's a video I refer to in the last YouTube I put up about targeted individuals, and I reference a video I would like for all of you to take a look at, because targeted individuals are being set up to become remotely controlled assassins. And they are mind swiped. They have implanted memories, implanted dreams. I know for many of you this may sound crazy, but that is the severity of the technology that we face. But now I want to get back in to the power grid, because it's important to understand the first thing that will go will be your inability for your municipality to supply you with water, because that will be targeted. Everything runs on electricity.
Shalom, Israel. It's your boy New Breed coming through with another live stream. Yes, this is a live stream, so you may hear brief intermissions to read and respond for those who catch this later. And today, we got a very, very pertinent topic. All right? We want to talk about how targeted individuals absolutely must have a strong spiritual foundation. It's the only way for us to overcome narcissism and narcissistic people. And we're going to talk about what that spiritual foundation is, what we need to do.
Because for some reason my videos are not lasting long, and I've deleted multiple apps, multiple videos. I've created so much space in my phone. It's no reason for it not to record for as long as I need it to. So that should let you know that they're mad. But anyways,
Target individuals, what's going on? It's been a while for me, but I'm just letting y'all know I'm doing good. And I got something I just want to tell y'all, like, man. But first and foremost, I just want to, let me say a prayer for y'all. Lord, I come to you right now in the name of your son, who you sent to die for our sins, Lord. Right now, Lord, I pray that, Lord, that everyone that watches the video, Lord, that you just touch them. You just touch their heart, Lord, to receive your word that I'm sharing them, Lord. Lord, I pray that you just bless everyone that's going through, that personally going through this same situation as I, that's getting harassed daily. And Lord, I pray that you just strengthen us all, Lord, and continue to keep us in the faith and guide us, Lord.
Regarding being targeted individuals, or individuals who are being singled out by society, by the government, by family, by friends, all because these individuals are identified as true disciples of God, true believers, true practitioners, or at least wholeheartedly endeavoring to be a practitioner of God's gospel. And These individuals have, given testimony regarding what they've had.
This has many names: gang stalking, mob stalking, community stalking. You're in the middle of this ridiculous, irrational impossibility that is real and is happening.
First, The Guardian revealed the National Security Agency is collecting telephone records of millions of Verizon customers.
To surveil someone through their phones, through their, certainly through their television sets.
For the last year and a half, he's been systematically followed by a group of people.
Does the FBI use drones for surveillance on U.S. soil? Yes.
New Associated Press investigation shows that the Bureau has its own little Air Force with scores of planes flying over American cities, recording video and tracking cell phone conversations.
He has a man outside of his house in a hood, like basically like a hood that looks,
Well, this almost sounds like gang stalking or something. Have you heard of that?
Many of the things that victims of gang stalking describe are also symptoms of mental disorders.
We're not having a group hallucination. This is actually something that's happening.
Life. We got away with a lot of things.
And the Public Defender's Office now believes an additional 1,000 cases these officers handled could be compromised.
We already believed it to be around 2,000, and our numbers from earlier this week's testimony goes at least out to 3,000.
The state's attorney's office has dropped fewer than 200 cases so far.
The Constitution protects everybody. And clearly what happened is they decided to throw away the Constitution, and they decided they would judge the jury, the law. They decided all that themselves.
Do you think these groups breed a propensity for violence?
They brag about it. They brag about kills and deputy ball shootings.
Sadistic, to derive pleasure or enjoyment from another's pain, whether physical or emotional. Extreme cruelty, sadistic.
This gang behavior, this gang mentality that we have within the sheriff's department has to change. I think at some point you have to ask that question. Are you going to be a professional police officer, or are you going to be a gang member?
You know what this means? It means I am a member of a gang.
If you could answer the question, what is your life? You say it's a failure. What is your life? A success. What is your life? It's a disappointment. But actually, it's showing to us, by the very context, that life is like a vapor. It's like the steam that comes off the kettle and you try.
I just came to you right now, target individuals out there. Hey, I done walk this walk, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just getting in it, but...
To be a whistleblower. This seems to be what this decade is going to demand. What advice would you give to journalists?
Driving by today, sweetheart. Now, if they were pissed off about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, get ready for this one.
Impetus for writing the book was to expose the fact that this technology is being used nationwide and globally in an apparent experimental fashion to harass certain people.
The stuff about that is I didn't think they had a total amnesia to it, because in September of 2010, I'm waking up, right, and I'm seeing all these things, I'm learning all this, all this wisdom, and I'm not keeping it a secret. The deal was, remember, we spread it out there. So we're on Facebook, we're doing all this shit. The Egyptian revolution's going on, and we're spreading the word, right? That's a key element to this. I remember getting the directive. Do not use this to make personal gain. Do not use this to make money. And so I'm going for 5 years. I'm talking to my girlfriend that's not awake yet. I'm talking to the whole world that's not awake yet. Watch the 9/11 videos, all that bullshit, right? Then in 2015, did you catch this, or did you get hit in the head with the global reset? All of a sudden, some magician comes along, and I start seeing these things that are almost exactly copies of what I would say the greater power of God did for me. But they're bootlegs. I'm like, damn, God, you got to practice. And then I realized it's not God doing that. Who's doing that? And then all of these people that I was trying to wake up started waking up to the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's like David Blaine isn't real. God's for real. They don't believe that. They don't remember anything about that. Probably just the same with us. 9/11, the day of 9/11, people woke up. It took me 10 more years. Now, I didn't believe or disbelieve in any conspiracy theory. I had never heard of one. But I got people around me trying to target me as a targeted individual, thinking that they're the gods. The millennials, they think that's their deal. What? They think they're God. We think about our God. They think about their God. They think they're God. And so when they learned all these instructions, their deal was use this to your advantage to take advantage of people in the world, on the material world. That's why we kept seeing things about spirituality on Facebook, but nothing about God. There's one girl I know. I said the word Jesus Christ, our Savior Jesus Christ, in front of her. Now the people that are woken up in my generation are not all religious at all. We started the whole religious or spiritual, not religious. But when I said Jesus Christ to her, the bitch flipped out. I'm serious. She made a fool of herself and ran out the room. She just had a kid. I thought, I should have done this. It's fun. I'll just show like a crucifix. Or I had a rosary on at the time. I'll show it to the child. The child fucking dropped and went unconscious. I swear to God, I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you.
A little bit of a serious tile video today. Now, this is no laughing matter, ladies and gentlemen, but today we're going to look into things like being a targeted individual and whether this whole thing is real. Now, I've been, studying on this for about 2-3 weeks now. Started sending messages to a lot of people, trying to get in touch. Unfortunately, I was not successful with people who were claiming to be targeted individuals out there. I really wanted to know a story of people who were being hit by this, but unfortunately nobody wanted to come forward, or I guess nobody really read the messages or any form of attempt of contacting them, which I can understand. I'm kind of terrible at that too. But looking into this, I wanted to cover this because these people were claiming to be targeted by the United States government, or in this case it could be any government out there, but specifically it was just the US government. And they claimed things like seeing people who were following them all the time around where they went, very, very, very specific vehicles that were always parked outside their homes, and at some points experiencing things like chronic pain because of government-induced torture devices that were being sent.
The Roman Catholic Church in the country last Sunday. A man needs more than to be forgiven. He needs cleansing. He needs more than cleansing. He needs indwelling. He needs more than indwelling. He needs enduing.
My mother was a medical doctor. My father was a former rocket scientist turned teacher. I grew up with a desire to be a graphic artist. And then I didn't like school very much, so I joined the Navy. And I did that for a couple of years. Didn't like that too much, so I came back to LA and basically lived in Los Angeles as a homeless man, just living on the street. I had my truck with a shell, and I worked as a handyman or construction jobs that I would get. The gang stalking experience started for me when I noticed these black SUVs and other police vehicles driving slowly along the street, but they never came up to me or said anything. And then I had 7 or 8 helicopters hovering directly over my apartment, and then it goes live, and it keeps happening, and it begins to dawn on me that something is going on, and this continued on. Here comes the gang stalking helicopter. Here he comes. It's confusing to humans trying to understand gang stalking. Why would they do this to me? Why would they do these weird, petty little things that, may even just irritate me at some moment? If you were to ask me what gang stalking is, it's a way to slowly kill people using their own decisions. See, we're getting one of our friends here. I don't know if you can hear that on the audio, but we're getting a buzz right now. And on certain topics that I'll bring up, I'll get buzzed.
My understanding of gang stalking is that a number of people have found each other on the internet who believe that they are being targeted for harm. So there's this concept of hypervigilance, right? Which is that your threat assessment centers get locked into a position that is too high. They're warning you all the time about things not necessarily untrue, but that you would feel better not worrying about. Being of the opinion that you had to constantly look around and figure out what might be threatening to you, or else your life would be at stake, would lead to you not just seeing connections that weren't there, but erring on the side of safety when you see a connection that might or might not be there.
I'm a self-taught makeup artist, and depending on the list that you look at, probably one of the top 10 makeup artists in the world. I think that just my life experience, me being around famous people all the time, what paparazzi photographers do to them, what normal people do to them if they go out in public, there'll be a gang-like reaction. This is essentially the same thing, except it's not, I didn't ask for it. In my experience, it started over a year ago. I had rented a space in Hawthorne, California, and people warned me that as a gay man, you know, it was maybe brave of me to rent this space. I never think about things like that. I didn't know what it was called. Like I said, I just thought that it was bullying. I just thought that it was, you know, people that were just like, get the faggot out of the neighborhood or whatever. When 20 or 30 cars are hazing you on the freeway, behind you, in front of you, on both sides of you, completely controlling how fast you go, whether you exit, whatever you do, this is something bigger than that. I started spray painting their cars on the freeway. I pepper sprayed them. At this time, it was trying to get them to call the police. That's what I was trying to do. I had no other way, I felt like, other than to find out, are these people together? Are they working in this one collective group for the same reason?